You can do these darkness retreats where it's like you actually die. I couldn't script this. I'm going into darkness the same day Jesus was come down from the cross. I was just going up and up and up and up and not aware of it. I remember I was walking through a tunnel and like the cave was moving. I would see serpents. It was like an ayahuasca trip at times. I was up against myself from day dot. My brain is so active. She rang the bell and she says, "Okay, Matt, your 3 days of darkness has come to an end." The moonlight. It was so bright it felt like the sun.
We have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Matt Omo, sitting in Bali. Here he is.
No, my new spiritual name is Frukilala. No, I'm joking. You'd be amazed at the people you meet in Bali, mate. I've met some characters.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Well, let's give a broader overview for people. So you've just come out the other side of spending 3 full days in darkness. Is that correct? 24 hours?
3 days, 4 nights is how it worked. So yeah, complete darkness.
3 nights, 4 days.
3 days, 4 nights, mate. Don't trip. Don't make fun of me, mate. I'm just getting my brain back.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. So, and I've actually intentionally not quizzed you too much because I want to go on the ride with all the listeners about your experience. Because when you said I'm drawn to doing 3 days, doing a 3-day darkness retreat, I think every part of me contracted.
But you laughed at me. Is that just your reaction from all the contraction?
Yeah, that's a trauma response. I'm like, holy moly.
I think I got the same out of my girlfriend, mate. Like,
yeah, I think everyone have kind of said, oh no, they're kind of like, ooh, that's interesting, right?
No, that wasn't my reaction. When it came across my feed, I was like, I got to do that. And I've talked to a few people that were the same way. It's like if you feel the calling, you just kind of go. So. Yeah, but where do you want to go?
When did it come across your feed? Start there. When did it come across your feed? And had you been pondering on it at all, or it just popped up and you thought, "Oh, I got to do it"?
I tried to trail back where that came from. I think I was watching a Diary of a CEO podcast, and he was talking about past lives or something. There was some woman on there, and she mentioned it in there. She says, "You don't have to die or have some tragic thing happen to you to go into that kind of state." And you can do these darkness retreats where it's like you actually die. I was like, oh, okay, sign me up. No, because I've been feeling, like just with the work and everything, it's humming, things are going well, and it's like, but for me, the work that I do feels like it's in some ways at a plateau, and there's like this next evolution of it that's wanting to emerge. So that's kind of where I've been the last 1.5 to 2 years, is how do I access that in me? Because parts of me knows that it's there, and parts of me is resisting it for some reason. So that was kind of the calling, and this darkness thing is something I hadn't done, and I'm like, oh, that seems like a very powerful way to just sit with myself and just really get to the crux of it, what's going on inside of me that's causing this resistance or this inner conflict, this inner kind of unease or unsettledness that feels like there's something that's wanting to birth. So that was kind of it. So let's take some time to birth something new. And it's the same thing happened to me when I wanted to when I was planning to go to Italy on my 30th birthday. I wanted to connect with St. Francis, and that impulse then snowballed into me walking the Camino de Santiago across Spain. And it was like doors just opened. When I decided I was going to Italy, going to Rome, then going to Assisi, like my roommate hours later says, "Hey, I'm moving out. You're going to have to move out," which opened up freedom for me to travel. And a book fell into my lap about the Camino. It was like that, like everything just opened. And this was the same way. It was like everything just opened. And
feels like, though, it was like you made a declaration. It wasn't like, oh, I might flirt with this or try. Once you knew.
No, I was in.
You were all in. And how many times do we say that to people that come through our work, right? You know, you can't do this half baked. Like you got to
No,
declare that I want to change or I want to shift and I want to go for it.
no, it's that willing presence, isn't it? The foundation of our pyramid. Boom. You either show up or you don't. Nobody can force you to do that. Nobody can like tell you how important it is. Until you're fully ready, you're not going to do it. And until you're fully ready, the universe isn't going to meet you to do it, which is insane. But yeah, that's what I witnessed 100%, man.
So once you declared, then you're all in.
Mm.
Because I think it was, you mentioned it a while back. Oh, I'm going to go to Bali and do a, like almost maybe even, it's got to be more than
Eight,
6 months
eight,
ago.
8 months ago, I reckon it came through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did you notice? I know 8 months is a long time, but it's almost like you're coming closer and closer. I remember somebody said to me once they decided to do an ayahuasca journey, and it was
Mm.
like they were coming closer and closer to their own execution. That's what it kind of felt in
Mm.
themselves. Not to put it that extreme, but what did you notice was starting to happen as the day become closer?
Yeah, well, it was more of a compressed move towards that, I reckon. I booked the flights in January and, finalized the dates then. So that was only, what, 3 months. And then I like you were saying before we got on, we were from January, it was like retreat, fly the kids to the States, come back, workshops, New Zealand retreat, and then I'm on a plane here. So it's like I'm here on a plane. That's when it really hit me. All right. So then in a way it was I was saying to people, because thanks to you, Mr. Lawrence, yeah, mate, I had to you said you should document this. So I'm at the airport waiting for my plane. I'm like, oh yeah, a guy said I should document this. Let me just put a little social media post out there. And then the whole freaking tribe is on point, mate. Oh, tell us more. What are you doing next? How you feeling? So yeah, that's when it really hit me, I think, when I announced it to my social media
It's
crew.
getting
And then
real.
yeah, it's like, oh, I'm in now. I better come back with something or I'm gonna look like an idiot. Um, so I in those posts, and I think I spoke about it, is it was a almost like a nervous excitement, or excited nervousness, is what I was feeling. So it was like this, what have I done? Do I really want to do this? Um, and this is going to be great kind of space. So that's when it kind of hit. And then luckily for me, when that hit, I was on a plane heading here, and then I had a day before. I'd planned it this way, knowing how this stuff works. Give myself a day to unwind at a nice beach resort before really diving in and going into those places where I was depriving myself of so many things. Ultimately distractions, even though they tend to seem like healthy things, they were distractions. But sit in that space at the resort, have nothing else to consider but what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What's going on inside of me? What am I feeling? And just be with myself. And that was, and sleep as well, which was perfect. Um, yeah, so that really got me on point so that I could just feel grounded walking into the journey.
Before we get into the journey, there's a couple of things because obviously we spend so much time holding space and giving to any, there's a lot of giving, and then there's our roles that we play in our lives as well, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen often, does it? That sense of space and time. And what I'm curious with as well, because I know you've had an amazing experience with where you are with the people that run it and organize it and everything else. How did you end up choosing them? Like, how would you know? I mean, can a darkness retreat be run poorly? I'm sure it can, right? So
Well, yeah, like anything. Hey.
yeah, yeah.
Um, no, I'm sure there's the it just evolved, as I was saying. It came across my feed, and then it evolved into the old Google search. Is there one in Australia? No, they can't find any in Australia. what's the nearest one. Then there was one in Europe somewhere, one in the States that I clocked onto. I was through Kelly Noonan Gore's podcast. She went to that one, which sounds really amazing. I still might go to that one in Oregon. And then this one came up in Bali, and I was like, oh, I could use a Bali trip just because. So let's look at that one. And then what really attracted me to this one was because it's run by a couple. And I think, with our work, we tend to lean into this type of environment to hold the space. Is what we're familiar with, is that beautiful couple that's coming from their heart, that has a space that is got the right intentions, not some hipster trendy kind of social media influencer that's trying to make a name for themselves. It's like this is who they are, this is what they believe in, they're coming from their heart, they want to give, they want to, it's very supportive, very nurturing. And so she's from Finland, and Tuli is her name, and her husband is Balinese. So the land that these cabins are actually on are his family's land. And so when they started texting me through WhatsApp, their care, their support, their way of just communicating to me and being really sensitive, caring, supportive, just spoke volumes to me. I was like, no, this is right.
What's the name of the retreat venue?
I don't know if she's got a name, because
we can link in the show notes anyway.
We'll put it in the notes. Yeah, she's kind of under the radar, which I like, because she, briefly, her story is that she was from Finland, and she was basically dying. Like these pain points come into play, and she felt a calling. She's like, I need to go to Bali, to this one valley, this Waterfall Valley is where she was, and water fast for 40 days. And so she did. She healed herself of her disease, whatever it was. I didn't get the details. And lived in a cabin with no electricity there for 2 years. And then people started to show up at her door. They said, I hear I hear you've healed yourself from cancer or whatever it was, just by water fasting. Can you help me? I'm dying. And she's like, okay, here's what I did. And that was 9 years ago. So 11 years ago she came here. 9 years ago she started doing the water fasting. And she was telling me that her earliest memories as a child, like before she could even conceptualize, was darkness. She says, I remember being in the womb. I remember darkness. I remember it was like a friend to me. And she's like, so I've always had this space to go into this darkness. So that's why she's lent into that from the water as well. She says, I didn't realize people actually ran retreats in darkness, but now I get to hold the space. There's 2 valleys that she works in. The Waterfall Valley is where they do the water fasting, and they've dubbed it the Darkness Valley now, for where they do the darkness retreats.
Does she know you're on the podcast, even talking about her and the retreats?
No, mate, no, because she's not like that. She's like, I said, they do have an Instagram page, but she could care less, she's doing her work. She's just happy to help people, and then people just keep showing up. I said, how do you market? Oh no, they just come.
Well, look at us. We're just on here talking about it just because of the goodness of her heart, and the experience she's had, right?
Yeah. And that's what all resonated with me. You could feel that coming through, and then she followed through with who she is as a person and who they are it's family run. It's like they're coming from the goodness of the heart, and the beautiful thing that I really admire about it too, appreciate about it, is that the money that comes out of that, it doesn't just go to her buying a Maserati to travel around Bali in. It's like behind these darkness retreat cabins is the family compound, like all the houses of the extended family live up there, and so the profits go to them. They're cooking the food, they're cleaning the space, and so then they get profit back from that to live and to support their lives, which I think is a beautiful thing. So it ticked all the boxes.
Ecosystem, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So when you get there and you arrive during the day, they show you where you're gonna be, for 4 days.
Yeah. No, because So I was a bit nervous going in because they were like, just meet at the car park at the waterfall car park. I'm like, okay, is there a phone there? Like, is there, what do I do? Do I wait for the alien spacecraft to land or what happens? And then they said, oh, just somebody will be there. It's like, okay. And so I rock up there, and funnily enough, there's Wi-Fi in the car park, which is great. Okay, now I can talk to them on WhatsApp. And I said, I'm here. I said, somebody's coming. And I'm like, where? And I'm in the middle of the jungle. There's nobody. And I'm like, okay. And I got a bit nervous at that point. I was like, did I just like get scammed? Am I just gonna sit here in the jungle for 3 days? But then sure enough, some young girl comes walking out of the jungle and says in broken English, you Madomo, come with me. It's like, okay, I'm coming. And then you walk up this curious trail into the jungle and turn down a little smaller trail that opens into this space where she holds the water fasting. So she's got a little villa with massage tables on either side, a toilet, a bath to do like cleanses and scrubs for these people that are fasting, and little kitchen, little outdoor kind of community space, all decked out Balinese style. Um, and that's where she was. She was just sitting there and greeted me, and we had a bit of a chat about what was happening. Not so much detail. She just like, we're going to give you a blessing in the waterfall, because she says you need to be clear. We like to clear people energetically before they go into that space. And so she had this beautiful Balinese woman come in full traditional attire, and um, had the whole basket on her head with blessings and prayers, the whole prayer bundles that they have here, and walked me deeper into the jungle, to the waterfall, which, wow, I never actually seen a waterfall in Bali. Funnily enough, I've been here a handful of times, but to this extent, it was massive, like, I don't know, 5 stories high or something. And just the rush of the water coming down, and there's a small outdoor temple next to it that she guided me through this whole process of sitting, taking the prayer bundle, holding to the heart, doing a meditation, doing some mantra, clearing, giving blessings to the spirit of the space there. And then she invited me to go into the waterfall. And yeah, and you can literally go under the waterfall. And like as you're coming up to it, the force of the water hitting and the air and the energy coming back it just like goes right through you. And so I did that, hung out under there for a bit, and then back in, more of the logistics, and heading over then to the other valley, which on a scooter with her stepson, with Tilly's stepson, who's 18, and he doesn't like to go slow on a scooter. Let's put it that way. So we're down these mountainous roads through the valley. She's like, I'm just gonna take in a 5-minute scooter ride out of this valley into the other. That was like 15 minutes. I was counting second by second, mate, because up and down and around, and I'm like, is he gonna crash this thing? But we ended up there in the valley, and it was beautiful. And little cabin just nestled in the valley, which she told me some stories about that space. I've been talking a lot. Am I talking too much?
It's cool.
Um, yeah, so we get there. It's probably about, what would it be, about 5 o'clock at this point. Um, the sun's starting to drop, and there's a beautiful fire presented, all Balinese flowers and colors, and uh, gave me a nice meal before I went in. We had a bit of a chat. I signed my life away. Say, I'm choosing to go into this. We're not forcing you, as you do. And yeah, had a nice chat with her about different things. And her husband came then and did the fire ceremony, blessings. And this area in their land used to be like a fruit orchard where they had all these different fruit trees. And the trees had gotten so old that they weren't producing fruit anymore. And so when her husband inherited the land from his dad, he decided it was time to clear it. And they cleared the whole land, right? And he couldn't handle all the chopping of the trees and all this, so he hit the road for the day. And when he came back, there was one tree standing, and he says, he was like irate. He's like, I paid you guys to clear all the trees, but there's this one tree that's still there. And they're like, no, we cleared everything. I don't know what you're talking about. There was no trees. And it turns out there's this Neme tree that popped up, apparently. This is the story, right? And a
Look at this
Neme,
Balinese story.
right? They just tell these different stories. And so the Neme tree is apparently a tree that holds people's blessings. And the Neme tree you can't plant. This is the story. You can't plant it. It just grows where it chooses to. And so this became a blessing to them, is that this Neme tree popped out of this orchard. And so this is when it was birthed, that this is where these darkness retreats are meant to be had. And so before you go in, you go up to the Neme tree. It's a beautiful tree. It's massive. It must have been there for years. Or it looks like it's been there for years. And then it just arches over the cabins. And so it kind of holds the space of the cabins. And you put a blessing to the tree with your intentions. And then a blessing to the altar. And then you go into this dark room, right? So it's a little cabin. Now, there's two rooms, one on either side. So it's like, you know, got the peaked roof, and they're separated. And each room has a bed, enough space to have a yoga mat, a little like puffy beanbag kind of chair thing that allows you to sit in many different positions, which is great. A table that you can squat down to, which has a door in front of it that opens to a box. And outside of that is another door. So they can open the door outside, put the food in, close their door, and then you open it so it stays dark, right?
I was wondering about that actually, yeah.
Yeah, and then she recommended highly, don't take your food anywhere but here, because you're bound to drop something and then the ants will come. I'm like, oh, that makes sense to me. I'm going to eat everything right here and I'm going to keep it clean. And so that's where the
Where they
food
put the
was.
food is where you eat it.
That's where you eat it, yeah.
So don't go, okay, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you could drop
right.
stuff very easily and you wouldn't even know, right? And then beyond that, the bed and all that stuff that I just explained is a second room. The room I had didn't have a door, but the other room had a door to the toilet. And it's just simply a toilet on one end, shower and sink, kind of like on the wall, and that's it. And everything's totally black. You got an air conditioner and a fan too, so, and the lights in the air conditioner are blocked out. So that's the scene, mate. That's where we're at.
So it's kind of obviously you could walk out any time, I'm guessing. It's not like they lock the door and you got to bang it down.
No, the locks,
Wood.
they make that very clear. Yes, because the last thing they want is for anybody to feel trapped. And they said you can come out at any time. You haven't failed. You're supported. However you want to meet, this is up to you. What they do is it's a wooden door, Balinese style door, with the wooden latch that goes on the inside. So I lock the door, so nobody can come in. So I feel safe in there. But if I want to go out, I can go out. And then on either side, I've got a curtain inside, a blackout curtain that rolls down over the cracks of the door. And on the outside, they have a blackout curtain that goes down and it's Velcroed, right? So I would just have to roll it up, open the door, and pop through the Velcro, and I'm out.
Okay. Okay. So you've gone in, they've set the scene. You've done your tree blessing as well.
Yeah, I did
So,
my
so you,
name tree blessing, right?
name tree
The
blessing, you set
magic
the
name tree.
scene, and then you've entered the room. They've closed the
Mm.
door. And now is it dark outside? You've had the fire going, but if the fire wasn't there, would it be
Dusk.
pitch black? It was
No, it was
dusk, was
dusk.
it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the day that I went in was on a Friday, and it was it just come off a full moon. So even as the sun was setting, there was still enough illumination from the moon in the sky, so it wasn't pitch black.
So on a side note, let me get this straight. You went in on Good Friday and came out on Easter Monday.
Yeah, and that wasn't planned. Okay, so
We got JC in the house.
right, well, Jesus did come, but this is later in the story. Uh,
I love this. I love this. This is just
Yeah,
getting
no.
better and better.
I couldn't believe it because I didn't clock it at first. I was like, oh, I can go on these dates in April. Like, and the kids have school holidays and they're with their mom. Like, this is great. I've got 9, 10 days. I can just really do this. And and then I started doing it and I was like, oh, the flights are a bit expensive. What's going on? And I was like, oh, it's bloody school holidays and Easter weekend. Of course. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I couldn't script this that I'm going into darkness the same day Jesus was come down from the cross. And on the third day, we're coming out again.
He's arisen.
He's a risen, mate. Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So okay, let's back to the story. So you've gone in, you've locked the
Yeah.
doors,
Yeah.
and it's pitch black.
Not yet. The lights are on. You can turn them off. That's the other thing. You got lights in there. It's up to you when you want to shut them off.
No shit. So
Yeah.
you could go back to turn the light on as well.
If you
That
want
would
it.
would be rough, wouldn't it? Like if you're like 2.5 days in, you decide to flick the light on.
Well, it was rough, say 2 hours in, because here's the deal. There's you got the air conditioner on the wall above the doorway to the toilet, and then it's these big like square switches. You can't miss them, right? You pop it and the whole light comes on. And next to that is where they mounted the remote for the air conditioning. So you know where the story's going. So I'm about 2 hours in. God, you can't even see the hand in front of your face, right? Oh man, okay. And I'm like, it's kind of cool now. I think I'll turn this off. And I go to reach for that bloody remote, and wouldn't you know it, I hit the goddamn
The light
light
on.
switch. Right. I was like, oh, and I cracked it off. I was like, no, I just spent 2 hours in here getting acquainted, and I've just like blown the whole gig, man. So very quickly, I learned that that remote needs to sit by the bed. It doesn't sit by the light switches. And yeah, so it's just from those 2 hours, the amount of impact and it's not a bright light. It's just a a normal room light, and that really really spiked my sight. I was like, wow, that was intense. So that was 2 hours in, right?
When did you decide to go down to sleep then? Like, because
Yeah. So that's she did talk to this. She says, when you first go in, you're gonna get a big hit of melatonin because your body, and you're gonna realize how stressed and distracted we are in our lives. Most people will sleep like the whole first day or two, day and a half. Um, and so I was excited for that. Let's do it. Catch up on the last 5 years. Um, so yeah, and plus they had just fed me before I went in there. A nice full Balinese, starchy rice, vegetable kind of dish with it was a coconut bigger than my head. So I was at the toilet every 15 minutes for the first 3 hours. Um, but yeah, then I dropped pretty quickly. It was get everything established, kind of know where I'm going to place stuff, have a strategy about how I'm going to manage the space when it gets dark, feel comfortable, all the lights go off. And then I probably did, like I said, I was laying down before I turned the air conditioning off. So I was probably asleep within 3 hours. And yeah. And in there, she's like, nobody's gonna come in here. It's probably easiest just to walk around naked. Like, and I was like, you're not wrong. So um I had the best thing that I brought in that room. Well, there's a couple best things that I bought in that room. One, when I was walking on the beach before, there's some beautiful stones. And my first breathwork teacher had always gave you stones in the sessions he would run for you, and you hold the stones in your hand, and the stones ground you as you go into this active breathing process. And I still have the stones that he gave me from years ago. And so I thought, oh, let me get a couple stones that will be like that. That was a saving grace in many ways because I had those stones there. So that was to hold, to have something to ground me. And the other great thing that I had, so
yeah, finish. Go on. The other great
oh, it
thing.
was a sarong. It was like a light sarong That's what I used. I just, I could have it around me if I was a bit chilly, or just take it off. And it was like so much easier than having pants and shirt or whatever it was to manage while I was in there. So, yeah. What are you going to say?
I'm actually here right now at a retreat space in Taupo, New Zealand, and it's beautiful. And it really brings home the difference between understanding this work and actually living it. Because that's what retreats can do and why we're so passionate about it. They give you the space to slow down, to reconnect, and truly let something deeper land. So it's not just an idea, but it's a lived experience. That's why we created Live in Flow. So if you've been feeling this shift in your own life and you know you're ready to go deeper, then come back to liveinflow.co to find out more. Anyway, back to the episode. I was interested in the stone and the grounding. So is that somewhere you could just really place your attention when shit was coming up? Is that what is helping anchor you in?
Yes. Yeah. It settled me in my body at times. There was a few times of anxiety that came up. I got claustrophobic one afternoon. And yeah, the stones were a go-to in the routines. Like I think I mentioned to you, I kind of had to pull on every tool that I had to manage that, because you're in this. And yeah, I did sleep the first day pretty solidly, but it wasn't until I come out that I realized I was probably waking up around 3:34 in the morning, because the moon is very bright in the sky, but it feels like it's the sun. Like you can kind of see after a day or so, you get so sensitive, you can kind of see little faint bits of light. But then it's like I wasn't sure. I'm like, is that light or am I tripping? And so that's when during the days I started to put actual blindfold on, just to counteract that, in case I was getting some sort of light. I didn't want to compromise the experience. But it turned out that's another story. I could go on different tangents. I've lost my train of thought.
But yeah, I'll jump in for a sec then. So let's keep it in a linear path for a sec then. So you've gone to sleep, you've crashed out, and then you've woke up, right?
Yeah.
Or you might be stirring in and out, and like, are you then now starting to lose track of even what day it is? Do they come and tell you you've been in there 2 days, Matt, or whatever? Like my accent as well. Then it was all there.
Nice. But I don't know what the accent was.
I don't even know where that came out of my mouth. But or is it now you're just in it, and it could be 1 day, it could be 3 days, who knows, right?
I would imagine, and she did say as I came up, because she didn't give me any kind of stories about what people had experienced, because she didn't want to taint my experience going in, which was great. But she did say that some people really get delirious and they lose all sense of reality in different ways and time, and that. And that's through people who do 7-10 days, longer ones. Which that was my initial kind of thing. I was going to do a 7-dayer, and they encouraged me to just give it a go at 3 days first, and I'm so glad that they did.
That's you, innit? Just jump in, boots.
I'm all in, mate. Oh fuck, this is too long. No, yeah. So I wake up, and no, you don't lose, because you're getting meals too. So this is the other thing, is that there's 3 meals served, so you can kind of manage the time in that way. But like I said, my timing was off, because I'd wake up and I'm thinking, and plus you can hear the animals outside. You can hear the wildlife of nature, and so the silly Balinese roosters. There's one now, just went off. It's like freaking 11 o'clock here. They go off from like any time of the day or night. They'll go off. So I couldn't gauge that. But I did start to notice the birds. There's certain types of bird calls that would come in at certain times of the day. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I knew when the actual sun was happening, because there's the roosters are idiots, and then there was 2 other types of birds. And by the time the 3rd one got there, I'm like, okay, now we're about an hour from breakfast. So that's how I gauged it. And yeah, it was fascinating. So then the first day I get up, and boy, it was a long time before breakfast. So I should have taken that as a hint that I probably got up in the middle of the night, but I didn't. I thought, oh, it's morning. And this is where I'm just feeling around, getting to know the space. And like I said, this is when I first discovered, because I went in, it was nighttime. And when I started to see some light kind of filter through. I mean, it's so subtle. Like you wouldn't have seen it if you just walked in there, turned the lights off in the day. You've got to sit in there for a bit. And then I put the mask on. And then I'm laying there with the mask on and my eyes closed. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, oh, I got to get up and use the toilet. And I'm like, I stand up and I walk around the corner, mask on, pitch black, eyes closed. I'm like, is that the toilet? I can see a white toilet in front of me. And I'm like, no, how can
This
I
is after you first day.
woke up first day.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Wow.
no, I can't. Like, how is that? And I took the blindfold off over my eyes and like kind of squinted in the dark. I'm like, yeah, and felt it forward. And like, yep, that's the toilet. And then put it all back on. And like, yep, I could still see it. Like, not clear, like, but there's an outline. There's a hue of a white toilet there. I'm like, that's fascinating. And one of your podcasts, I think you had a fellow on that was talking about or the woman was on talking about the blindfold, the kids and all that. They could
Yeah,
see
I've had a
through.
few people doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was in my mind. I'm like, oh, is this what they're on about? And later coming out, Tuli was like, yeah, you actually start to see the energy of things. And so I was toying with that from the beginning, which is fascinating. So I was doing that in the morning. And then it's like, as I'm getting acquainted to that, I'm still kind of churning and waiting for that breakfast to come. Like that's going to be, oh, I've made it to breakfast. Um, and I realized quickly I had to quiet my mind. What I needed for myself was some sort of routine. And so that's where I started to lean in my tools. So before I get out of bed, I started doing the chi packing and meditation, moving the energy centers up, and then I would get out of bed. So that gave me time in the morning to do a practice, to start to feel the energy, to be present, quiet the mind. And because, wow, these days are long. Like, you, it's such a flip of the script to realize how much time we actually have in a day when you're sitting in a room with no distractions but yourself, as opposed to when you're in your life and we are doing so much and we blink and a month has passed. And it's like that was one of the huge lessons for me, is like, wow, we really spend our time busying ourselves, and ultimately all that's doing is causing us to miss life and just really piss it away. It's like, no, if you actually had a presence and a stillness and a practice to nurture space in your life will be much fuller and much longer. And it's like, wow, that's pretty radical. So yeah, I was toying with that whole construct of time in there.
Right.
But after the chi and energy and go on, you have a question?
Oh yeah, go on. Just keep going with the routine.
Yeah, then the rocks came in, because I was like, oh, I can do a nice foot massage for myself, and fascia release with the rocks. So I had nice half-hour each foot massage, and then down the legs, chest, arms, like all the stuff that you do with the fascia release, with your little device. I was doing that with the stones, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be so good for me. And I'd do that, and then I'd sit and meditate again in the chair, and that probably had like an hour or two meditation after all of that before the breakfast would come. Right? And so here's breakfast, and I've had a full day already.
When did you start? Like, so you've gone into routine. You're losing track of time. You know, you're seeing toilets in the dark. Like, there's all, there's all these things that are starting to come online. When did you start? Was the point where you started coming up against yourself, where the body was starting to reveal what maybe we've been keeping ourselves distracted from?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was up against myself from day dot. Like it just happens. My brain is so active. That was the biggest battle. That's why I was doing a lot of breathing, a lot of meditation. What can I do to still my mind? That was the main objective, because the mind chatter just makes it even longer and more arduous. So back to my Vipassana experience, just focusing on the breath on out in and out of the nose. Like that was a powerful practice to lean back into. So yeah, I was coming up against myself there. The first kind of physical unrest came in after lunch. So I had gone, breakfast is just a bowl of fruit with some coconut water, which is great, like very light. That's all I needed. And then lunch came, and the food is beautiful, all homemade, healthy, clean. And yeah, it was a decent portion. And I thought, oh, I don't want to, feel bad about not eating their food. They've prepared it for me. I should eat the whole thing. And yeah, so I ate more than I should have. And then I was like, yeah, okay. And all the work that I had done in the morning, my energy just went kaboom. And so I was like, it's probably not the best way to go about it, having food 3 times a day. And plus I was like, I'm gonna put on about 10 kilos just sitting in this room and eating this much food. So after lunch, I waited for an hour or so meditating, and then I did a little body weight fitness routine, um, which leads to, in the Balinese heat, a very sweaty room and body that then led me to the shower. So that's my shower for the day. And then, which is an interesting experience in the dark. You'd be amazed at how much we do with our eyes that we just take for granted, like so many things. And yeah, and then I got to a point after that, and then I'm sitting down and I'm like, okay, now I feel like I'm back to square one energetically on having to lift myself back to that lucid state again and that expanded state. So in that meditation, it started to occur to me that I should not eat so much. And also in that is when that first bit of claustrophobia came in. Um, it's a small room. I mean, 2 meters, 2.5 meters, probably square is the room, plus the toilet. Um, and the
Size of an
Yeah,
office. Wow.
yeah. I mean, if you imagine you had a bed, and then a yoga mat, and then the wall on either side, and it's about the same width. So yeah. And one of my key things, you know me, like I can't sit still, can I? Like
No comment.
the comment, mate, right? And they're like, bloody hell, what is this busyness? What is this moving? And my favorite thing to do when I'm freaking out is to go for a walk in nature. And I'm like, I can only walk 2 steps on that yoga mat each way. That's as far as I can go. So I had to deal with that. And that's when the claustrophobia came in. I'm like, wow, I've never felt claustrophobic, but I'm sure feeling it now. And yeah, so I had to settle myself, had a full belly, feeling anxious, feeling claustrophobic. And just coming to terms, that was probably the first realization. It's like, well, why do I move so much? And boy, the answer came hard and fast out of that one. Distraction, strategy for survival, um, doesn't allow me to be present, doesn't allow me to deal with what is really there, feel what I um, need to be feeling. The list goes on. It's like, okay, if nothing else comes of this, I'm going to sit here for 3 days and overcome that uh, strategy or that um, habit of fidgeting, moving. And yeah, I felt like I really came to peace with that over the 3 days. So it was the first.
This is great. I like this new mat.
We'll see. Hanging out with you is the next level of retreat. Uh,
So when did you, because you spoke of the experience of the crown of the head and the pain and what
oh
comes through.
no, you would go there. That was
Of
just a
course, man.
private message, mate.
Oh, is it? All right, we'll keep it quiet then. I
No, no, I'll
apologize.
share it. I just don't want to sound like fucking hootie la la, mate. Like, um, there's weird stuff going on in there, and I didn't realize how altered I was until I got outside. I was able to see, because the sight and gives you a point of reference. So in there, I had no point of reference to associate to understand how altered I was. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. So I was just going up and up and up and up and not aware of it because I had no
As
reference
in
point. And
expansion,
expansion,
energetically.
energetically. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I was doing these practices hours a day. My
I
breath
bet.
work, active breathing, meditation, energy center stuff, somatic work,
Just
you
on a
name
side note, right?
it. Hmm.
w- Not that we can speak for anyone else's experience, but you've got a lot of experience in this field and
Hmm.
tools and things that we do. So you got an incubator to work in. For people that are not experienced of any of it, and then go in there,
Hmm.
I do wonder what would come out of it.
Well, I think we all have our. It goes back to the willingness, doesn't it? I think if someone is willing and feels called to do it, they're going to find the resources within them to move through it,
Yeah,
or not. Like it doesn't have to. I mean, that could be the journey as well, is to realize, wow, I really need support. I really can't manage myself. I am out of control or something along those lines. Because those thoughts crossed my mind as well as I was in there. Is, with all these tools, why am I struggling so much? And the truth of it is that the tools are just tools to overcome the biggest challenge that we have in our lives, which is ourselves. And so no matter what tools you have in your tool chest, you're still there.
still human.
And still human. You're still there. You still got
Mm.
to manage the mind, the aches and the issues of the body, um, and so forth. So yeah, I think it did help me a lot, I reckon, but I probably would have powered through it in a different way if I didn't have those tools.
Yeah.
Um, but it's
Is it?
beautiful to
Do you
have
think
them.
there's a way? Is there a way to muscle through this in some respects, as opposed to
Mm,
surrendering to it? Like, could that be possible for
yeah.
people as well? Yeah.
No, I think it's like we see it all the time, don't we, in the retreats? There's
No, we
different
do. We
processes.
do.
If you could, you want to, yeah, but you're only going to get then as much. Um, you're only going to get the insight that you need for where you are in your journey. So if you're really tethered to the ego and really tethered to that having to push, then that's going to be present for you, and you'll succeed in these processes of getting through them. But you might not have then the capacity to understand vulnerability or surrender. And I know from my journey, that's been a very, when I first started even holding space for people, my way of working with people was very, you know, guns blazing. Let's smash this kind of mindset. And over the years, hanging out with you, I've softened a bit and realized that it's not often push and force is not the most powerful thing that we have access to. It's surrender and vulnerability are often more powerful. So I think it's an evolution we're all on. And yeah, there's different ways to meet this, different ways to go through it, for sure.
So talk us through. I sorry, I got
The,
you on a tangent there. We'll
I
come
know,
back
mate, but it's
to.
okay. I'll give you the woo-woo
So
stuff
you're going
then.
up and up and up and up, expansive, and
Expanding, yeah. No, the IMS thing was crazy. So I could start to literally make out the bed, and I was testing myself because then the bed sheets are white, and I'm like, oh, I can see. So right there, then is the corner of the bed, and then I reach out. Yep, that's the corner of the bed. Okay, so I am seeing something here. Still questioning, am I making this up? Because I saw the room before, and then I was like, okay, the Duna, the blanket over the bed was darker color. So, okay, I'm going to pull that over the bed and then just leave it. And if I come back, I probably won't see it because it's not white, right? And then I would get amongst the meditation or something. I'd forget that I had done that. And I come back and I'm like, oh, I can't see the bed anymore. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And then you move the blanket and like, oh, I can see it again. So it was really fascinating to play with that kind of stuff. through the mask in the darkness. So there's something to that, and then learning how to see depth with that, watching the energy of things. You start to get DMT releases in there as well. So you get, and amongst other probably hormones and endorphins. So things can get trippy. I remember seeing, like, I was walking through a tunnel and like the cave was moving. Serpents, I would see serpents. It was like I was on an ayahuasca trip at times, with the visuals I was seeing. To get flashes come in, all of a sudden I'd be there meditating, and then there's like this eye looking at me, and I'm like, and it's illuminated, and I'm like, but what's that lamp? And I'm like, oh, there's no lamp. Oh, that was just a hallucination or a vision of something. So, and then I started to get these flutters that would come in. It's like a strobe light. And I started then to allow that to relax. And it was like energy wanting to come in. And it would flutter in like this strobe light. And then if I softened, I could feel it rush through my body. I was like, that's really cool. So these types of things I was playing with energy. At one point, like, this is the thing that I mentioned to you, is like, I felt this real big pressure on my head. And I'm like, what is that? Why, how do I let this go? And that's when old JC came in. And that's when he was hooded, and it had this like kind of brownish habit on. And I thought, oh, that's a Franciscan monk, because I've had a guide that I've worked with over the years that's often shows himself like that. And it wasn't until I kind of tuned into the essence of that figure that I saw in front of me that it revealed that that was the essence of Jesus Christ in front of me. And for whatever reason, he was saying that the pressure in your head is the crown of thorns from the crucifixion. And I was like I didn't think about it at the time. Like, okay. And then I said, lift it off. And I literally took my hands and went like that. And that pressure just dissipated, and the energy just rushed out my head. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I grappled with that. I was like, what are you saying? Like, was I part of the energy of Jesus Christ when Jesus was in physical form? And I'm like, I can't hold that as a legitimate kind of thing in my consciousness. But I think that what comes to me is that we are all part of that kind of consciousness emerging on the planet. If there was a physical human named Jesus Christ that was enlightened, I don't know, but that was the energy, that was the essence, that was the metaphor. I often look at these things as metaphors, all ways that energy communicates to me, is through symbols, through metaphors, and that was a very powerful one for me. Ironically enough, as we were joking about going in on Easter.
Yeah, right. No, it's the whole thing's fascinating.
Mm.
So once you found your routine, you going through it, you're having all these experience. Was it a point where you felt comfortable, and
Oh.
it would continue? Okay, so when the time was up,
No, I did. I mean, there's times. It's, like everything, like all of our practices, like all of our life, ebbs and flows, right? So there's times where I'm in the zone. I'm just there, and like time is timeless. I'm expanded. This is great. Wow, I feel, yeah, so much power and consciousness and awareness and la la. And there's other times where it's like, why did I do this? What am I doing? This is the joke. The mind chattering.
Mhm.
But no, I got in a groove. I got in my pattern. My schedule helped, having the routine. And I was able to drop quickly into a meditation. That's what I noticed. Um, the stories would come up in the first day or two, things to do, regrets, choice points, memories, all that. And that kind of unwinds itself after a couple of days. So by day 3, it's like you have a random thought, and then I would just say, okay, let's just come back, and boom, I could drop in. So comfort, that was as comfortable as I got, was to be able to just detach and be.
Yeah, fair enough. What was it like It's funny. I keep thinking of Matt Blackham because I was telling him about what you were doing, and he's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
And he was saying he was in San Francisco recently, and they went to Alcatraz to have a look. Him and his son.
Mm.
And he said, and the prison guard was the guy that was showing them around was explaining the prison guards, like for any real bad behavior in there, they'd put him in a pitch black cell in isolation, right? But what they used to do was give them a coin, one coin, and then the prisoner would throw the coin in this pitch black, and then spend the rest of the time trying to find the coin. That was what was keeping them sane. And then they'd eventually find the coin and just hold on to it for like dear gratitude in life. Oh, I found the, and then eventually they'd throw it again and just keep going. And that's how they got through it. So you kind of think, wow, when that puts things into perspective as well. Imagine doing it in a place like that.
Oh,
Far
no,
out.
thanks. When you don't know when you're going to come out, because that's the other thing is like, wow, like deep respect for um, people that are blind and what they have to manage in life, and don't, that's their experience. Or like yeah, I leaned into that a bit. It's like, oh, feeling like a prisoner in there, a self prison in a way, and I knew I had an exit. But how would that feel if I didn't know when the exit was? That would be next level, like insane making stuff. Yeah.
What was it like coming out?
Yeah, so coming out, because I kind of had a beat on the timing. It was going to be the third night once it got dark enough. And, those subtle lights that I was trying to identify where the time of day was were way off, because it got pitch black again. I couldn't see any of the subtle lights, so I figured, oh, it must be completely dark. And then I started getting anxious. I'm like, okay, well, they're gonna come soon. They're gonna come. You can't wait. You can't wait. You got to just sit here, just be present. Who knows how long it's going to take? And battle, 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 battle. And then this beautiful storm came through. Wind picked up and bit of thunder, and rain just came bashing down on the roof. It's like, oh, that is a clear message. Just relax. Just chill out. And so in that moment, I was laying on the bed at that point, trying to cope with myself. And I got up and sat in the chair, grabbed my stones, and sat down and really started to breathe into myself. And that's when I started to hear this message, and it said, "This is you're still here. Like this is all part of the experience. Be present with it, because you want to have as much of an experience as you can. You don't want to miss any of it. So just be here, enjoy these last moments of this experience." And then the message was, you have an opportunity to walk out of here into a new life, a new version of yourself, a new way of being, or whatever it is that you choose. And I had gone in, and one thing was, how do I allow the essence of myself to emerge more and let go of all the restrictions? There weren't many restrictions, funnily enough. I think over the years, the work I've done has been helpful, which surprised me. But then the main restriction, which I mentioned before, was just myself. So I come to terms with that. It's like, okay, just get out of my own way and allow that to emerge. And then the question that also brought me in there was, how do I, with the state of the world and everything, I was like, well, how do we bring more peace, love, and kindness onto the planet? And yeah, that's when that landed, was in those last moments. Was the answer to that for me was what we always say, the cliche is to be that. And so that became my mantra as I was sitting there, is that I'm going to step into a life of being more kind to myself, to be oh, I had a nerve. um yeah, be more kind to myself, be more kind to others, to be more loving. And and to be more grateful as well. I think it's a big one that came flying in, and all those deprivations of light and crutches. And as soon as I had that realization, this is what I'm going to step into: more peace, more love, more kindness, more gratitude. She rang the bell and she says, "Okay, Matt, your 3 days of darkness has come to an end. You now are welcome to come out." And so the layers come off and pop out. And as they pull back that curtain, I thought they got me out like in the middle of the day. I was like, "Come on, guys, like that's bright." But it was the moonlight. So it was like half moon, and it was so bright it felt like the sun. And I was kind of squinting and putting my hand over my eyes to focus in. Like your depth perception's all off. Your balance is a bit off. Um, and I stood there a little bit wobbly, and I was looking down, and they had some steps that were in front of me that I needed to walk down from the villa. And I thought there was these LED lights that they had around the stairs, which that's nice. They can actually see that and make that out. And it turns out that it's just gold trim, just these shiny gold trims that were so bright from the reflection of the moonlight that felt to me like LED lights. And so that gives you a bit of perspective on how altered after 3 days my sight was. And yeah, I came out, tried to focus on her, to walk down to the fire again. And they give you a lei or a thing of flowers, and set you down and come out for another meal and chill out. Yeah.
Holy moly. How many days has it been now since you've been out?
Now, well, I came out on
Monday.
that
This is
was
Monday.
Monday night when we did that little experience, and then I got to stargaze for a while, go back into the darkness with candlelight. There was one candle that they let me burn, and then yeah, in the morning I got up before. This is when I realized I was getting up super early because it was like the moon was out. I thought it was sunny because the sun was rising. Watched the sunrise, and that allowed me to get acquainted. So that was Monday night. Tuesday, what's today? Thursday? It's Friday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, 2.5 days. And this,
Mm.
I up until last night, I couldn't sit on the screen like this long. I would do about 20 minutes on the screen, and I'd start to get a headache, or my eyes would
I
start to
bet. I
wobble.
bet.
Like the impact of these things, insane. Yeah.
Impact of a lot of things we do. It's insane.
It really brought things into perspective. I think, yeah, the way that I do things in life, the things that I take for granted just are on autopilot. It's funny, isn't it? Because I say these things out loud, and it's like the same stuff that we say to all of our clients. And I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to take time for ourselves as facilitators to be witness firsthand as to what our clients are going through and what we experience. Makes us better teachers. And I know I hope like that I can keep moving this intention that I had when I came out of that space into my life, and that's going to require a lot of letting go of a lot of busyness and a lot of this chasing and a lot of yeah, the fears. A lot of it comes down to the fears, what we hold. Everything, you distill it down, it's a fear. It's a fear of dying ultimately, and that is our ultimate end note in this experience anyway, is death. So it's not something that we need. It's something we need to make friends with, I think. And in making friends with it, I think that we then disengage a lot of the charge that the fear has on us, which ultimately leads to the choices we make, the actions that we take, and the behaviors that we show. And so if we come to terms with that, we can then shift the behaviors and shift the life. And yeah, I'm sure it'll all come out in the workshops and retreats as I get
Don't
more
doubt it.
words.
There'll be a lot, like I was saying to you before we recorded, there's a lot of people, within our Live and Flow community that are going to be, we're wanting to know this experience and what it felt. And we've been talking for nearly an hour and 5 minutes, and incredible, mate. Yeah, it's incredible what you've just done. You know, I ponder on it. I was like, oof. Like I was saying, I was driving with the family. Was it Sunday, driving down to to see the grandparents, so the kids could see the grandparents and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just driving. You have time, and I was just feeling into you and where I just starting to imagine what it would be like to be in darkness. Is kind of funny, when you just get in the zone. And I was just and I just thought, holy shit, this is this is no walk in the park. No walk in the park.
Oh, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then you say to yourself, "Thank God I'm not doing that."
yeah.
That poor
Pretty
bastard.
much.
I'm glad you didn't close your eyes on the freeway, mate, trying to
No, I
test
didn't
out
do
the
that.
darkness. No, yeah, it's been a journey. Like the coming out has been hard, mate. We had the opportunity to go to the waterfall afterwards, which I did that again. That was so clear and so cleansing and grounding. And then I've just been at this space here again, up by the water, and it's literally taken me this long. I've had 2 massages, a salt scrub, a healing session from a Balinese healer. And yeah, today I woke up and I'm like, okay, I'm back. I'm coming back. So I was surprised how much it took to really get back into life. And I'm not fully back in yet.
Yeah. No, don't rush in, mate. Stay slow.
Yeah.
Somebody kept reminding me, the slower you go, the faster you get there in many ways. Why
True.
can't we just be more,
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make sure, get the boys, make sure the links are in the show notes for everyone. They can check out where you were. I'll get some photographs in there if that's all right as well, in the video version. So they can just at least show you accommodation and stuff where you were staying and that kind of thing as they were going through. But yeah, any final words, mate, before we wrap this up?
Oh man, I said a lot of words. That's the other thing. I was silent in there for 4 days on purpose.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's taken
I can't,
my voice to reestablish. So that's a lot of words for me in the last week, just there.
Yeah, right. Of course. Yeah. No, phenomenal, mate. Inspiring. I'm really happy for you and proud of you, what you've just gone and done. It's incredible.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to getting back in some ways. Well, we'll see you on the next venture. Whatever that is. I haven't plugged into it yet.
Yeah, no, it's Melbourne, mate. We're doing a full day event in Melbourne.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll be next in May.
That's fantastic.
Bali in June. If anyone wants to join us, gosh.
Yeah, I should just stay here, mate. I wish I could. Oh my God. So good. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks, legend. Cheers. Bye-bye.